we've got Albert Bowie. Albert, how are we doing?
Fantastic. How are you doing?
We are doing, listen, we are ready to go. We're about S.O.S. today, which is shiny object syndrome. Let's switch over that camera view. Here we go. There we go.
I know I look
Listen.
good here.
Shiny object syndrome, the S.O.S. We're talking about that. And we're going to hit you with 10 different shiny object syndromes that we've come up with and collaborated on that we think are really important to really recognize one and just make sure that it's not really holding down the productivity of your day, your life, and your business.
For sure.
Right?
I think that shiny object syndrome is something that's not talked about enough. Like, it's very easy to do this regardless of if it's in just like normal life or if it's in real estate. But in real estate specific, as to what I've seen throughout 6 years, it's very easy to just follow where you think that it's, oh, this is the get rich quick. This is an easier path. This is the next big thing. And we've all been guilty for it. So it's now a matter of actually exposing that and talking about it and making sure we're letting you guys know how to not fall back into these traps.
Yeah, and listen, it's everywhere, right?
Yes.
You hear things like pivot. You hear people making extreme amounts of money here or there or whatever else, and you're focused here on your path to financial freedom and building your business based off of real estate investing, right? Or going out there and finding discounted properties and making a good amount on each one of those, and then all of a sudden you're over here. All of a sudden you're wholesaling, and then all of a sudden you're doing flips, right, Albert?
That's correct.
And then you're building your rental portfolio, and then you're doing all these other things, which is fine. But really, right now, it is more important than ever to focus and to really destroy these shiny objects. And I'm going to start with one, and then we'll just go down the line of these 10. Guys, this is an interactive show. This is a live show. The show does not happen without your comments and your questions. So whatever comments, questions you have, put it in the side here, and we'll get to as many as possible. Also, let everybody know what market you're in so that you can squad up. Consider this kind of like a meetup where you can start collaborating with a lot of amazing people around the country that have the same business mind, the same business goals that you have. So make sure that you're putting in on the comment section. But number one is comparison, I think, is one of the biggest shiny objects of all time. It's that thing that when you open up your phone and you look at Instagram and you see somebody balling out or on vacation or driving something fancy or buying something fancy or doing something that you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I could do that type of thing. You have that comparison. I think that that's like 20% of shiny object is you comparing yourself to somebody else. The other 80% is you comparing yourself to where you think you should be.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I think, I've been doing this work. I've been going for like 6 weeks. I should already have a deal. I should already be doing deals. I should be already closing these things. I should already be, on my way to being a millionaire right now, right? But it takes some development, and stop beating yourself up. Stop really comparing yourself to some fantasy version of yourself where you want to be. You're going to get there. But it takes change, and it takes time, and it takes work. So really watch how much of your day is comparing yourself to others, and comparison, more importantly, to where you think you should be.
Absolutely. And the one that I've got that kind of goes hand in hand with comparison is imposter syndrome. So like you said, like you're comparing yourself to where you think you should be. How about the people that actually go out and they spend the money they don't have to impress people they don't like, to buy things they don't even want?
Sure.
Like the imposter syndrome is almost in a way believing that you are achieving things when you aren't. So that may say, like, I think the word you used was pivot. That's where a lot of people use this word pivot. And it's 9 times out of 10 where they're like, well, I'm already doing this, so I might as well pivot and focus on this instead. You need to understand and have this reality that this goes back to comparison. This is why they go hand in hand. Don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. You're on your own journey and your own path. Be present and appreciate the journey. Understand where you're at today and be thankful for where you're at, because I guarantee you when you get to that milestone that you're looking for, you're all of a sudden going to look back and be like, man, I missed the journey part. And by then you already have your next goal. So just be present and understand imposter syndrome will get in your way.
My mentor and great friend, Tom Kroll, has one of the best. He has the best sayings. I mean, if you do not follow Tom Kroll on his Facebook, it is a crime. All right. But he says debt makes the wrong things important. Debt makes the wrong things important. I think that is so wildly powerful, not just because it's a liability and you have this bad debt and it's a consumer debt, but why are you buying it? right? Why is it important for you to have this right now when you can't afford it? That's essentially what it means, is getting debt.
For sure. And
banks have been built on this. America has been built on this. Consumerism has been built on this, right? Everything's been built on like brainwashing people to buy things that they can't afford. And when you do that, you put attention on it. All of a sudden, you want that thing. You want that that trip or that experience or that car or that whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is, or those clothes or those shoes or the whatever it is. But debt makes the wrong things important. Now you're putting your attention on, okay, I want these consumer items, and I'm willing to pay more for them over time than they're worth now, and I'm not investing this money that I could. So it's like a weird spot where you're at, because now you're just throwing your money at debt and interest, and now you're somebody else's ROI, right?
Yep.
All right.
Next one. This one is one I've been guilty of myself, but crypto and NFT dreaming. So this is a specific example. This is going to be one where all of a sudden life is going well, whether it's W-2, whether it's being an entrepreneur or something like real estate, whatever. You make a good amount of money. Well, then all of a sudden you start taking your foot off the gas and your primary focus to put it into another, we'll throw some money into crypto, we'll throw some money into NFTs, and we're just going to ride that wave. It seems like everything's going up.
You get excited about it.
You do.
Watch it. You're starting to follow people on Instagram that crush it. You're starting to watch YouTube.
Billionaires.
You're starting to look at all these, crypto billionaires, NFT, and I get it. Listen, you want to build your life on that. That's totally awesome. But if you're trying to build a business in real estate and build a business over here and understand all these things at the same time and build the skills that you need to survive any market conditions over here in your business, it's going to be a distraction.
It is. And
it's going to be a shiny object.
That is a perfect example as to why I think that's one that needs to be talked about. I mean, just remember, where you're putting your focus and intention is where the results are going to come. So if you're diversifying it across too many places, I mean, is it really all that incredible to be doing 50% effort in like 5 different things, or do 100% effort in one thing, then multiply it and start diversifying into other avenues? So don't get caught in that one either.
One of the biggest shiny object syndromes that I see is education. And let me explain. There's a difference between education and instruction, right? Correct. And we've had this conversation a lot. We had this conversation when you were going up on stage to speak at Wholesale Sharks. There's one way to educate people on your experience so that they feel like they understand where you're coming from and all this. But what do they take from the speech that you just had?
For sure.
What can they implement into their business besides a little bit of shot of, dopamine and inspiration? Like if you go and you watch most speeches, it's all like, one, kind of bragging, and two, education. Like this is what happened in my life. Do you relate to me? Like relate to me type of thing, as opposed to, hey, go do these 5 things and you're going to be successful.
Correct.
So watch how much time you're spending with education and in that education loop. And I'm talking to all of you out there that maybe you've been watching on the sidelines for 6 months, a year, 2 years, getting ready to get started someday when the timing's right and you know enough, all this stuff. Stop. Just go and start taking action on the instruction that you're getting, and the action is going to be your education. Yep. You know what I mean? It is not education plus action equals results.
Correct.
It is action plus results is your education. There's a huge difference there. And I'm telling you, the people, that's why I always say the dumbest people make the most money in this business, because they're not afraid to go just take the action and really screw everything up and then learn that way. So just take this as encouragement that even if you don't know every single step of the process, if you just start going out there and finding ugly houses and having conversations with those property owners or the people that represent those property owners, you are going to make a huge impact in your community and in your healthy, heavy bank account. Boom.
Absolutely. Now let's have a conversation about emotional versus logical decision making. I think that a lot of shiny object syndrome is stemmed from emotional thinking rather than logical.
Yep.
So it's going to be short-term satisfaction rather than long-term delayed gratification. So what you need to understand with that is it really worth it to go buy the bag? Is it really worth it to focus on, like we said, with crypto or NFTs? Is it really worth it to take your foot off the gas of your primary focus to all of a sudden feel like you're winning in the short term, or to play the long game and understand the path you're on right now is the long-term delayed gratification? Rome wasn't built in a day, and you can't expect to come in and all of a sudden have instant success within your first week making hundreds of thousands of dollars. anything worth having is going to take time to build. So what you need to understand is think logically, not with emotion.
And it's so much better.
It is.
It's so much better when you like actually have to work for something and you achieve it.
Yep.
If you get it too early, you almost have buyer's remorse.
Literally.
You know what I mean? It's like the way that we work with property owners. They go, "Hey, I want 130," and we're like, "Okay, great, I'll give you 130." And like, whoa, that was too easy. Wait a second here. There wasn't any kind of negotiating. Maybe I left too much on the table. Like, what else is out there?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And if it comes too easy, then one, it's not sustainable for sure because there'd be too many people, there'd be too much attention on it,
Sure.
and two, it would be hollow. Go for something that has substance, something that is tough, something that punches you right in the gut, and you're like, oh my gosh, this does not feel good. How do I, you know what I mean?
How do I overcome
and
this?
then overcome it, and then all of a sudden you're on that other side, and you just
And you're like,
you feel amazing. Yeah, you
Yep.
feel amazing. Next is guilt. Stop it. Listen, it doesn't. I had this conversation yesterday on the live show. Listen, nothing we can do about the past. Nothing we can do about the future. What are you going to do today? Because today determines what's going on in our future, right? And
Yep.
we can't, and we can learn from the mistakes of the past or the successes of the past, but stop with the guilt. Like, I always had guilt, and I'm speaking really from a personal place here. Whenever it was like I started like an hour later on my phone prospecting when I was in a hustle season, and I knew 9 to noon I was calling every single day, and for some reason, I don't know, I woke up, it was just a little goofy, I just didn't feel it. I started like 9:47 or 10:15 or something like that. I would have this guilt, and it would like kind of ruin the rest of the day, you know what I mean? And then if I didn't do it at all because something came up, I felt guilt, or I wanted, people wanted to spend time with me, but I wanted to pour money. I wanted to pour time into the business, and now I'm feeling guilt about all these different things. It's there's so much guilt that we put on ourselves that if we let it be a shiny object because it takes our attention, and that's all we're talking about. Shiny object syndrome is just taking your attention away from the things that are going to make you successful, happy, and fulfilled, and actually bring joy into your life. Right? So that's all shiny object is. And I think guilt really does that for us. Well, I'm guilty that I didn't do this or that, or I said I was going to do this, or I wrote down every single day my goals to call people, and I haven't called a single person yet. Great. That's all gone. All it is a hallucination now. It's like somewhere locked in your memory, which isn't really that great if we're being honest, of what you should have done. Stop it. Just do something today. Just take the action today so that you don't have that guilt. And just get rid of the guilt. I mean, do whatever self-work you need to be and be around the right people to get rid of that guilt.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And sticking on the topic of mindset, I think another one that is a very, very, very it's not even like intentional. It's unintentional distraction as to what you're doing on a daily basis. But on the mindset aspect, it's ego and entitlement. And this is a lot of what I preach to the people on my team, people that are close within our community. This is something that I also went through at a very young age. When I came into real estate, I was this 18-year-old punk that thought the world owed me something. I thought that I was like the shit. I was like, yeah, that's right. I'm the best. I'm an 18-year-old real estate agent, and I got the world by the hand of my whatever fucking. You guys hear what I'm saying?
By the balls.
Yeah, by the balls,
Yeah.
hand, whatever. Like
Birds
literally,
in
birds in hand. Thank you.
Bird balls in hand.
I literally thought the world owed me something.
Yeah.
I had this entitlement. I felt like I was the shit. So what I want you guys to understand is that ego and entitlement will also distract you because it's going to make you realize that, oh, well, I'm going to do this and I'm never going to fail. The world will knock you down. It did it to me and it crushed me at 20 years old. Now, I was fortunate this happened at a young age, just 20, but still, it was something that I had to go through to realize, man, this was a distraction. I was focusing all my eggs on one basket of let's just focus in on being a traditional agent. I was doing commercial deals, business broker, but I was too scared to really focus in on just wholesale and then fix and flip. So I had this ego and entitlement as if I was the best in the one lane that I was in.
Yep.
And it was the understanding that it just wasn't the case. So
Wrong squad.
big.
Right?
Big.
And we talk about this a lot, but I want to kind of take a different spin on this. I remember young, just getting my license, 22 to kind of 25, and so much time was spent like meeting people at coffee houses or meeting at bookstores or going over and doing these like meetup, like support and talking about doing business and what strategies to do. And then I looked up and I was like, we're not doing any business.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And now I look at my life now. I see Pace and Jamil on Mondays. I see you guys on Thursdays. You know, we text throughout the week 2-3 times, whatever. I talk to Tom Kroll, Todd Toback here and there. But we're not like just sitting down having like group thinking sessions all the time and like just, you know, hypothesizing and thinking about things. We're out there actually doing the work. And I think that's a slippery slate. It's like quicksand for the young entrepreneur is, oh wait, nobody else is really doing stuff. Let's all get together and like hang out and support each other and talk business theory and business ideas, right? But not actually do business. Does that make sense? Does this have any? Does this ring any bells?
Oh yeah.
Right,
dude. This is like, I would say, I hate to like say this comment, but like I think it's most meetups.
Right.
I think most meetups, it's like you sit around, you just talk, and it's like, okay, well, let's do something. Like let's go with instruction versus education, and let's go ahead and make some deals happen. Like being around the wrong squad, that might be one of the most distracting things I think that is kind of slept on in this entire list. We gave you guys a lot of like good nuggets here, but the wrong squad, you are who you surround yourself with.
Well, you just listen, if you're out there taking action, if you're out there being super proactive, you're going to find other proactive people.
For sure.
If you're there stuck in that kind of education and sitting around and learning type mode and you stay in there too long, you're going to get comfy there and nothing's going to happen. And if you have all your bills getting paid for by a job, if you have all your bills getting paid for by inheritance or by, you know, something else that is, maybe you just don't have a very expensive lifestyle, it's very hard to push past your limits on really going to the next level. So what's really pushing you? Get out of the comfort zone, get out of all of it. I mean, what you get it. You get it. Right?
And I really like how we kind of flowed, because this last one I've got kind of goes hand in hand with that. It's understanding work ethic and being consistent. So like understanding work ethic is something that I think is very easy to get distracted, because like you said, when you're not putting all your focus in and it's not like there's anything really pushing you to want to do it, you have to dig deep and figure out within yourself, why? Why are you doing this? Then the second part of that's being consistent. Once you figure out what your why is and you figure out what lane you want to stay in, being consistent
Can I talk to you about this?
Please.
The whole why thing.
Yeah.
Because I think it's really interesting, and I've been investigating this why thing, and I understand where it comes from. And a lot of people say their family. A lot of people say, you know, they want to change the trajectory of their family tree on a wealth basis, and they want to do that. I think that most people are lying.
Okay.
I really do. I think we're born in a certain. We have a certain motor to us, and I think it's okay for your why to be because I just want to. I do. I'm going to be I know that, and maybe this is coming from, I was very privileged to grow up in an unbelievable household where we had dinner every day, and there was a lot of support, and there wasn't a lot of, you know, like real friction, and I really didn't have to deal with a lot of things to really build up a self-esteem. And there's a lot of people that have had to do that, and I applaud them. I didn't have to do it, but I honestly believe I could live in a van with my family, and they would be just as happy as the house that we live in, right? I do. Alejandro doesn't think so, but I think that they would be just as happy. They would be crazy, but there would still be happiness and joy, and we would figure it out, right? So, I mean, I don't know. I think people go, you know, my why is my family, and then they don't spend time with their family. Or my why is my family, and then there's no whatever harmony there. Remember, there's never balance as an entrepreneur. There's only harmony. Right? So I think it's okay to be like, I want to do this because I want to do this. It's just in my brain. It's in, you know what I mean?
For sure.
I mean, you guys had it early on. You guys had it in high school. You guys had it, you know, getting out of high school. You had it growing up. Everybody here has this. Everybody here has that fire to not be just average employee, go to work, clock in, do that their whole life, and then be out. It's like school never got out for most people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They put you in rows at school, and you do that type of thing, and then they put you in rows in cubicles and offices in a job, and they tell you where to go, when to be there, what to do, and how much you're going to get paid. That's ridiculous.
Yep.
We don't think like that. The reason our why is because we don't want that.
Oh man,
you know what I mean?
I love it.
Do you get any of that? I mean, is this
100%.
guys? Is it any of this? Please react to this and just tell me if I'm just like being a total asshole about this, or if not. But I really think that we need to stop being so ridiculous with our reason why.
Yeah.
And really tapping into your reason why. Like, you know why.
Oh, yeah.
It's because you want it. Why do you want it? I don't know. You were born that way. There's something about your brain. There's something about your background. There's something about you, the way that you were brought up. There was something that you wanted in life. There was goals. There was dreams. There was somebody else that you wanted to be. There was change that you wanted to make. That's your why. You know what I mean? Like, I, when people get all philosophical about this thing, I think that it's virtual signaling, and I think it's gross.
Dude,
I do.
No, I agree, dude. I don't like the trend that if you become an entrepreneur, you start a small business, you have to have some like holier than thou reason for doing it. I just don't understand why we can say, because I wanted to make money and I wanted to make more money than my 9 to 5 was. Like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with saying that I just want to make money to spend on myself and my family? There's nothing wrong with that. I don't understand why we kind of have to like dig a little deeper to be like, I was raised this way, blah, blah. And of course, we all have our own personal reasons, but I just want to make money. And what's wrong with that?
Well, money is the receipt that you get for providing value to the marketplace. That's all money is.
Yep.
That's what money is.
Right.
Your income, your earned income. This isn't wealth building. This isn't what you're getting from investments. This isn't what you're getting from a return on investment or something. But the money that you make, that you earn, is your receipt for the amount of value you provide to your community.
For sure.
That's it.
For sure.
You want $1 million? Build a business or do it yourself. Find a way to provide $1 million worth of value. Why does LeBron James get paid whatever $36 or $40 million a year? Because everywhere he goes, ticket sales go up. Everywhere he goes, you know what I mean? The amount of people that watch him on TV, the amount of advertiser money that comes in, the amount that the organization, the Lakers, get is because of that.
Yep.
That's the amount of money he makes. It's because of that. It's a receipt for the value that he's providing. It's entertainment. It's inspiration. It's all those things, right? So you want to make $100,000, provide $100,000 worth of value. But you can't do that, being stuck in education. Nobody's going to pay you to be educated. Nobody's going to pay you for your good ideas and thoughts. They're going to pay you for the way that you implement it into the marketplace. That's how you get it. It's a receipt.
That inspiration right there, bro.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
No, you're spot on, though. And, I mean, to tie it in there, like, the why, it's like you said, like, figure that out. And I think that if you want to just do it, just do it. The work ethic has to be instilled by wanting to just do it. Being consistent has to come from wanting to just do it. You have to make it happen. Don't get distracted. I think this topic today is something that, like, I mean, it lit a fire underneath me, and I'm just here. I can only imagine the people that are watching.
No, I mean,
this,
shiny object syndrome. I mean, it's real, and the reason I wanted to talk about it, and you had brought it up, and I think it's really important, especially now with a lot of different things going on in the market and a lot of different uncertainties and a lot of different people posting on social media, doom and gloom, and it's almost like people are cheerleading for the whole market to melt down for whatever reason. I don't know if it's like fake confidence that they're like, oh, market's gonna melt, we're gonna like vacuum up all the deals or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is because nobody knows what the future is going to be. People are living in the past or the future. Like, live today. Live in this moment. What can you do today that's going to provide value to the marketplace, to your community? And that's the most important thing. And shiny object syndrome is in here. It's just taking our attention away from providing value to the community. And if you can get through all that. And listen, I went through all of these. Literally every single thing that you came up with, maybe not so much crypto, but I was looking. Yeah. I've been talking. I've been like,
it's okay.
Okay.
I messed up for the two of us. We're good.
No, but I mean, like, every single one of these 10 I'm guilty of, 100%. And still am to this day. But the difference between me at 24 versus me at 40 is I recognize it and I shut it down quick.
Yep.
I shut it down quick. You're allowed to be distracted, but only for like an hour.
Okay. That's
not
fair.
for like a week.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like, shorten the timeline of these shiny objects, and you're going to be more productive out there.
I 100% agree.
And be a better leader and be able to get better talent, which is really what we do to build business.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
Guys, if you have any deals that you've listen, we've got the victory bell. We're going to ring this victory bell for anybody that has locked up a deal, sold a deal, made their first call, whatever it is, whatever progress that you've made. Let's just ring the hell out of this bell today. You know what I mean? Look at Ralph. Just closed on another rental yesterday. Direct to seller is truly the best way to find
Let's go.
to find business. Yes. I love it. Now remember, Ralph. Remember, your sourcing deals business, your wholesaling business, and your rental business are two different buckets. Okay, so my suggestion: any rental, unless you want to just build up your rental portfolio to the point where your positive cash flow is paying for all of your expenses, and then you can start really freeing up your time. Yep. But if you're building up your wholesaling business, make sure that you've got a full focus on your wholesaling business and have somebody else manage this. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Manage your rentals. Don't get stuck in that landlord phase where you have the potential to be a tired landlord. Because remember, 85% of the deals that we do as wholesalers are from landlords. Let that sink in, right? Everybody that wants to build that rental portfolio, so did all those people. And something happened, and they got beat up by it because it was a lot of attention that they didn't necessarily have available in their schedule. So make sure you have somebody that is doing that. But that's awesome. Added another. That's wealth building. I love it. Here we go.
Go, Matt.
Matt Miller.
Good morning. Day 55 out of 75 on our challenge. One deal closed. Another one that turned into a traditional listing is upward of $30,000 when it's all said and done.
Fantastic.
Listen, Matt. I am so proud of you. I won't even say proud. I am so happy of you. I think pride is like something for your kids. I am so happy for you that you, as an agent, have decided to really implement going direct to the property owners and finding off-market properties. Because I'm telling you this, agents are about to be crushed. 4.1 million agents. 500,000 active listings, half of which are under contract right now.
Yep.
4.1 million people are going after 250,000 listings. The numbers don't add up. If you're a real estate agent, if you have a loved one that is a real estate agent, they need to be watching this channel for real.
Yep.
They need to be implementing right now because it's going to be a fist fight.
I feel like that was like the commercial, like the puppy one, like In the Arms of the Angel starts playing.
Yes.
Like if you're a real estate agent and you need help,
that's it.
You need to be watching this
that's
right now.
That's it. Ring that bell. Congratulations,
go, Matt.
Matt.
Let's go.
That is awesome. Luis,
okay.
Just closed another JV today after some roadblocks. There you go. Closed another JV. Let's ring that bell.
Yes, sir.
Ring that bell. No? You don't know that song? Okay. No. My generation. Jose. Brent, just got my dialer and started cold calling yesterday. I'm 17 years old in Riverside, California. Found a buyer by my other business, Mobile Detailing. 17 years old, has two businesses.
Nice.
This is your...
Dude, this is just built different. Like, that's what we're talking about.
This is...
17, dude. Just keep going. Keep going.
Jose, congratulations. 17 years old, Riverside, California. Started cold calling yesterday. Keep the momentum going.
That's it, bro.
And doing mobile detailing. I mean, this is what we're talking about. Yeah, this is exactly what we're talking about. So just take action. Listen, this should be inspiring to anybody that's 29, 49, 59, 23, whatever, 17 years old, just taking action, just jumping in there. If Jose can do it, so can you. Absolutely. So take confidence in that. See, when you see other people doing it, you can model it, right? And that's how you get there faster.
For sure.
Awesome. Congratulations, Jose. I'm so happy for you. Is there any way for us to get the new contract? Valente, I'm assuming he probably means Paces, right?
I think so.
Is it in Insider? From Hotline? Is it in Insider? We'll get it for you, Valente. Yeah, we'll get it for you. Do me a favor and follow up. If you don't have it by next week, just hit us again. All right? I'll try to get it into ttpinsider.com. All right? Yeah, Daniel was in here. Daniel has done $240,000 in deals in his first 6 months.
Whoa.
He got his first $90,000 deal 2 weeks into. And by the way, podcast is going to be dropping here in a couple weeks with Daniel. He absolutely crushed it out of Boise, Idaho. And you drop Daniel anywhere in the world, and he's making friends. You know what his goal is? This is just fantastic. He wants to build up so much wealth that he can open up 1, maybe 2 boutique coffee shops that entrepreneurs can meet at and just have a great place in Boise to get together, talk business, support each other, and just build local communities.
I love that.
Isn't that incredible?
I love that.
His dad is a PhD and volunteers his time in Mexico.
That's incredible, man.
To teach people for free on a master's level program.
That's
I mean,
unbelievable.
These are community builders right here.
Right.
Absolutely incredible. When you read The Go-Giver, the connector person in that is who Daniel is. So awesome. Yeah, and he broke the bell yesterday ringing it. So we fixed it. You got it.
From Humberto. I had my first actual conversation yesterday. I have a vacant land lead from that.
Ring that bell. Ring that bell. We celebrate you. We celebrate you, Humberto.
Let's go.
That's it. That's awesome.
That's the name of the game.
Keep it going.
TTP.
Keep it going. And listen, that's just the first one. Just keep talking, keep going after it. I love it. JE, I made $130K wholesaling the MLS this month in Washington, D.C., and will be wholetailing the MLS in Florida. Wanted to ask Ryan, which city in Florida could this be applied? First of all, before he answers, ring that bell.
Yes, sir.
Bring that bell. Kenny.
Go.
Kenny's getting a workout over there.
No, dude, this is so incredible. MLS deals are the way. And for those that are agents that are wondering, how do I handle everything transitioning in the market? You do this strategy. You work deals on market. You work deals with other agents. That's what it's all about. Which cities in Florida? I'd say any of them. The hot ones right now is Jacksonville, Tampa, Orlando. We do deals in Fort Lauderdale and Fort Myers as well. So
I like Palm Beach.
Palm Beach is good.
I would stay away from Miami.
Yep. Do not go to Miami.
Yeah.
But you got it, dude. Unbelievable.
Pick one and test it, or pick two and test them.
I would recommend Tampa and Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Mr. Ryan Zolin, if you had to start this business over from scratch but had $20,000, how would you take over? Say you live in Tulsa and you have full time to dedicate to this.
Sounds like Seth might live in Tulsa with $20K in his account, getting ready to
Just
go.
hypothetical, right?
Yeah, this is great. Yeah.
Personally, I would check to see if Privy's in that market, and then I'd recommend getting Privy, and I would utilize that software only on top of calling agents all day long. Now, if you're not licensed or Privy's not there, you could also work by having a partner that's a real estate agent that gives you access to their MLS, and you go in and you're just submitting offers. What I would try to do is almost challenge you to keep that $20,000 as long as you can.
Yep.
It's very, very easily distraction, right? Shiny object syndrome, to be like, well, I'm comparing myself to people that have dialers, systems, they have VAs, they have this. Before you know it, that 20 grand is gone. Save that 20 grand, spend something like a couple $100 a month on a system, whether it's Privy, whether it's batch dialer, or whether it's even a deal machine driving for dollars. Find one system that's going to be cheap enough. Go and put all your effort into that. My specific strategy as to what I would do, I would use Privy and I'd use the agent outreach. Yep. That's it.
Yep. Awesome.
Build up that bank account, dude. Let's go.
Marcus, just starting in this business and I'm getting momentum. Nice. But need help to know a little more on how to close a deal. Okay. Remember, there's three parts, right? And I think that this is really important. Lead generation, which you're doing, which is fantastic. Conversion. And conversion comes down to three parts. Okay. It comes down to pre-qualifying, lead follow-up, and your offer presentation. Okay, so the first one there is pre-qualifying. We pre-qualify every conversation that you have with a property owner or somebody that represents a property owner is about the condition, timeline to sell, motivation to sell, or what's their problem, and their price that they want. So you want to find those four things, the four pillars. Can we pop up the four pillars? There we are. So the four pillars of pre-qualifying right there. Property condition, timeline, motivation, and price. All right? That's the first part. The next part is your lead follow-up. Just do it, right? It's the Nike slogan, just do it. Don't overthink this. You're not going to lose deals from excess follow-up. You're gonna lose deals if you're not following up enough. And listen, you need to go with certainty and likability with these follow-ups, kindness and optimism. All these things kind of intertwined as you're following up with these leads, because if you don't go with that and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to call this lead back because I don't want them to tell me something I don't want to hear, or I don't want them to hit me with an objection that I'm not really prepared for, then you can't advance forward. You know what I mean? You're always going to be stuck kind of at a certain spot. And I think maybe that's the spot that you're at. That's where most people that I coach are at, is that part where they're like, I don't want to lose this lead. And they might ask me something like, how many deals did I do? What's my website? What are the last 5, can I get testimonials from the last 5 people that you worked with? Whatever. All these things that we think about and might come up. But if you just go honest with people and you just say, listen, I'm just starting this. It's a small family business. I know I could do a great job for you, but I don't have a huge track record. I do have a mentor or a coach. Find somebody local or get a coach or mentor that is supporting me, and I know that I could do a great job for you. So that's what you do when you don't have a tremendous amount of track record or experience, is just be honest with them, hit them with it, and just see, is that going to prevent us from moving forward, right? That's the conversation that you want to have. And then your offer presentation. The offer presentation should be a natural closing because you pre-qualified them and you did the lead follow-up. And before you go on that appointment, I know this is long, but before you go on that appointment, you want to say, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, before I come out, if what we talk about today makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident moving forward based on the price and the terms that we've talked about, is there anything stopping us from moving forward and getting the agreement signed? And now you know going into that appointment if there's going to be some big objection stopping you from getting that contract signed, or if they go, no, if everything lines up, done deal, we're ready to go. And then you're great. It's called upfront agreements, advanced agreements, upfront agreements, whatever you want to call it. So there's really 3 parts of that. We really break it down a lot on this channel. So I would highly recommend anybody that's struggling with the conversion side really deep dive into some of the videos here, but not too much. Start taking the action, right? I don't want you getting stuck in education. If you'll see, a lot of the stuff that, all the stuff that we put out is intended to be instruction for you to be able to go out and implement right away.
Boom.
There you go. It was a strong question, required a long answer.
You've done a couple deals.
Yeah.
From Isaac, why do you recommend to stay away from Miami? I've heard shady business happens. Is that true? That's it. Yeah.
It's the number 1 fraud capital in the country.
Yeah.
And it is. There's just a lot going on, Isaac.
There is.
It's just everybody that I know that has gone there has failed. There's people that have deep established roots and bigger pockets than we do to go into those markets. Millions and millions spent.
Yep.
And there's shady businesses, people backstabbing each other.
That's it.
I've just heard horror stories. I've never been there. I don't know. I can't speak from personal experiences, just from what I have been told from the people that were in that market.
We tested it out. When we first went into Florida, I was trying to figure out what cities were working out. And so I was doing a bunch of agent outreach. There was only one agent that impressed me in Florida. Her name was Desiree. Won't name her last name, but she was the only one that seemed to understand how to work with wholesalers, investors, sellers. And even then, that was 1 out of hundreds. So, and then aside from that, I've heard all the horror stories too.
Luis, some mornings I wake up and get negative thoughts, but when it wears out throughout the day, what can I do to snap out of it right away and stay positive all day? Well, listen, that's impossible. Right? There's always going to be things that are going to take our emotions in a lot of different ways. The number 1 thing that comes to my head when I read this is, and it's going to be cheesy and it's going to sound, just redundant about everything, but it's gratitude, right? It's the old Gary V. I would highly recommend you get the Gary V book, 12 and a half. 12 and a half. Yeah, it's called 12 and a half. It really puts things into perspective. And you can get it on Audible, Luis, and just play it as you're going through. Anytime that I'm waking up, and trust me, I am at my worst right when I wake up. Like, I do not want to talk to anybody. I am like exact opposite of me right now. I go and I go right into the shower and I just wake. You know what I mean? Like, and then just get that mind going and start putting some good things in. And then as I'm getting ready, I'm listening to great people that either an Audible or a YouTube or something, just getting that good stuff started already, good ideas. And we talk about squatting up. You can squat up virtually with people that you find very interesting and impactful in your business. So just put them on and listen to it as you're going.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your thoughts that's like the most powerful thing you've got.
And Luis, it's also once you're in action, it's tough to have that your attention on negative thoughts when you're always going and taking action and making progress.
For sure. Albert, what about you? What's your opinion on that?
When I think about that, listen, the best entrepreneurs and business owners of the world know how to restart momentum when momentum doesn't exist. So we carry, everyone's like, ride the wave. Yes, everyone can ride the wave. Now, when the wave dies, how tough are you to restart that wave? And that's what's going to make you a great entrepreneur. Lewis, I work out, man. That's my safe spot. In the gym, I have nothing but me, myself, and I. The pain is what gets me through of just working out. It feels good to me, and that's how I just restart, knowing that nobody else is going to pick me up but myself.
Yep.
That's it, bro.
Love it.
That's it.
Demola. Got my first contract. Boom! Vacant land waiting for my buyer to sign the assignment contract. Come on!
Let's go.
Let's go. Yes.
Let's go.
Listen, guys, I don't care what is on the news. I don't care what's on social media posts. I care what happens live on these shows. And when people are getting deals and closing deals and having their best months and staying positive and supporting each other, that's the real life. You know what I mean? Like, people do deals every single minute, every single second of every single day. Come on. What are we doing? Michael Clark started escrow today in 2 single families and did an offer presentation. Still need a cold call, TTP. You better get it going, Michael.
Let's go.
This is a TTP, yep.
Let's go.
Get it set up, Michael.
Boom.
Yeah, I think Michael just joined a week or two. But, yeah, get it going.
It's insane.
That's absolutely incredible.
Okay. This is as an agent investor. Cyrus, have 2 JV deals with EMD closing next week. First deals for my JV partners in Minnesota.
Alejandro's from Minnesota. That's why I said it. Where in Minnesota are you from?
Let's go.
Pine Island, Minnesota.
Not an island.
Huh? It's not an island. Cyrus, congratulations. 2 JV deals with earnest money closing next week. That is absolutely incredible.
Stud.
Yeah, keep it going. Keep that momentum. Remember, when you close these deals, guys, start every day at 0. 0 money in the bank, 0 opportunities, 0, leads to go off of, and it's going to keep you focused and not like living in your bank account and in that confidence and being like, oh, yeah, great. Just put it away. Just keep doing the things that got you there, for real. Just keep building that system up.
I love it.
Right?
I love it. There's so much, there's people winning. It's just inspiring.
Yeah.
That's what this show's about, guys.
Yep.
Let's go.
Awesome. Is it true the Lavenders are stopped lending money?
Who are the Lavenders?
Oh, lenders. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe it's I get it. Lenders are stopped. No. I mean, Mel AZ, I don't know. I don't know where you do business, and I don't know. So maybe some perspective there would be helpful. In Arizona, I literally talked to the biggest hard money lender with Capital Fund One on Monday. He said if he had, and I quote, if I had $50 million, I could put it in the streets right now. If I had an additional $50 million, and they've got, I don't know, 100 million out there. So they are still lending money. And just from a mortgage standpoint, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So if you're talking about private money or you're talking about hard money, absolutely. They will always. That's their whole business. They don't make money unless they lend money. They make money on their money.
There's so much money.
And just to educate everybody on that might not know, because I didn't know for a long time on what hard money is. Hard money is they go out to entrepreneurs and doctors and dentists and wealthy people, and they go, listen, put your money with us. We'll give you 8% on your money to 10%, and we're going to lend it out at 12% or whatever it is, and we're going to take the fees and the upfront origination fee or document fee or whatever else. We're going to build our business off of that, but we're going to lend this money on assets that we're going to be in at 70% or below the value of these things to keep things very secure. We're going to make sure people put in a good down payment on these properties. So we're going to be in a safe position with your money, and we'll give you 8 to 10% return on your money, and people love it. People absolutely love it. So then they raise $10 million and they get a track record. And then they raise $50 million and then they get a track record. And then after that track record, then they can go to institutional banks and say, hey, institutional banks, with your deposits, let me give me another $50 million.
Right.
So that's how they build up hard money. So they have all the responsibility for all those people that are in their fund to give them a return every single month. They get a check every single month, mailbox money every single month on their interest and their returns, and they have to keep that going. So there's plenty of money.
From David, Ryan, has your formula for comping in this new market changed? ARV times 0.93 minus estimated repairs minus fixer profit minus wholesale fee? No. The only thing we've changed is that we're a little bit more mindful that some buyers are buying just a little bit steeper. So if I had to give you like just one thing to tweak, obviously get the feeler out by getting deals under contract and get the feedback from your buyers. But all that said too, we just take an extra 5-10K off the top.
Albert, what are they doing for profit? We just had this conversation.
And I was just thinking that.
Yep.
Profits just need to be steeper. You know, it
instead of 10%, what?
We sent out a property with a 10% of the RV profit margin. It wasn't enough still.
Yep.
For these particular buyers. So it just reflects that the market risk just means the profit needs to be more to take on that said risk.
Give us a percentage.
Honestly, if I had to think about it, maybe tack on another 3 to 5% because that's a very healthy margin to do something.
Yep. There you go. So in that equation, you just have to, that fixer profit that they want there, David, if it's over 200,000, then go with that 15%. If it's under, you're going to have to set a minimum. They're going to want at least, they used to want 20,000. Now they're going to want like 30,000 buffer if it's under 200,000.
Yep.
So there you go.
Money.
The real honest investor. I've had 2 people claim to be down with me and be my business partner. Then when I bring a deal to the table, they disappear on me. How far can you go being a solo operation? They were fix and flips.
Yeah, so how far you can go being solo, I think that you should be solo. I don't think you should be, quite frankly, looking for business partners at the beginning. I think that that's one of the biggest distractions we also could have talked about too. Is like business partners. When you're first getting started, I understand. Trust me. Like I had mentors, I had teams, I had a business partner, I had like the whole shebang at 19. I didn't like how it all like made me feel, and it also made me feel like I doubted myself. I needed to rely on those business partners to be able to bring in what I felt I couldn't. And what I needed in that moment was honestly some tough love. I needed to figure things out on my own and then figure out what I was good at and what I wasn't. Rather than just, oh, I don't want to do this. It's okay. I'm not even saying that's like what your approach is, but figure out how to do this on your own first. You could go and make well over 6 figures doing this as a solo entrepreneur. Then as for business partners, you need a date first. You shouldn't be going in and just signing like, yep, 50-50 partners. And if you've had this happen twice, you need to say, hey, I want to make this a JV agreement up front. I want to bring deals. Let's squad up. Let's do this. This is my expectation from you as the JV partner. I'll bring the deals, however you want to arrange that. And then once you figure out that this works after 6 months of dating, then transition it to being business partners if you choose to do so.
Yeah, build this thing up. Like in the beginning, and I'll just tell you from my experience, I had partners all the time. And then I found Tom Kroll as a real mentor, and that was my partner. And it cost me $5,000 to join his program, and it was a lot cheaper than 50-50 with my. And so I had that mentor in there that really made sense. And I'm not saying this because I do this and it's self-serving, but like literally that was my version of a business partner, somebody that was already there. I'm going to do the work anyway. I'm going to put in the time anyway. I'm going to be doing this, but now I keep all of it, not 50% of it. So one, you can get really far with somebody that's a local mentor or whatever else that is going to have your back and navigate you through the territory that you aren't familiar with because you haven't been there before. And then 2, most of the people, it's only solo for a certain point, and then you start hiring people.
Correct.
And then you start building an actual team and then you work with them. They don't work for you. You work with them, right? Everybody on my team doesn't work for me. I'm not telling them what to do. I'm pointing them in the direction, and I'm like, okay, what's our goals? Here's our goals right here. Here's everybody's individual, their part of the business. Let's go out and do that. What happened here? What happened here? What do we need more of? My job is to make sure that the funnel is filled with leads. But that's you build up from a solo, and then you start bringing people onto your team. And so that need to like have somebody to share this with, I totally get it. I had it for years and years and years to like just have somebody in the trenches that you could just run things by when you're having a tough day or when things going good to celebrate with or whatever else. But you can do that with a coach or mentor, and then eventually a team, in my opinion, and and do it a lot faster.
Spot on.
What book are you reading right now?
I actually haven't started a new book yet. I'm kind of just in this weird.
What was the last book?
The last book I went through and I reread Who Not How. And this was like probably about 2 months ago. I was kind of struggling a little bit with trying to figure out. We've got a couple new people on the team that are joining us, and I was like, okay, like where do I need to align them? Yeah. And so I went back and I reread Who Not How.
Yeah, mine randomly is called Gym Launch, which has nothing to do with real estate, but it's by Alex Hormozi, and it's a fantastic book about coaching and setting up businesses like that.
Awesome. Ryan, do you have to put and/or a sign on your offer sheet you send to the realtor? Thanks. So this is market specific. What I would always say, first and foremost, is call the title company and make sure that they break down whatever the contract is that you're using so you know what you have to do legally. What we do out in Arizona is I don't have to put on and/or assignee because every contract in Arizona is assignable unless stated otherwise. This is going to be the same thing for if you're working with on market or out of state, whatever, in another spot where if it says that you can't assign it, in that case, you would double close. Like I know, for example, we have a few students in North Carolina that are like, what do I do in this instance? Like it says that it can't assign it. Two things. One, you could either make it assignable by crossing that off initial and say this contract can be assigned. You could add and/or assignee on top of that. You could double close. In Arizona, but again, we don't have to. So we don't put and/or assignee. We now have to disclose that we're wholesale buyers. So again, talk to your broker and figure out what that looks like if you're licensed. But ours right now says seller is aware that buyer is a wholesale buyer in the state of Arizona. Now, obviously, if you have the intention of closing it, it's kind of a gray area. I'm not advising you to not put it, but if you're going to buy the property, just buy the property, double close it.
Yep. We've got somebody that's going to jump on. Hey, he's back.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How are you?
Really good, really good. Brent, Ryan, it's really good to see you both.
You too. So, what's the update from last week? We got a little bit of an echo.
Is it echoing?
No, it's on our end. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. So I did basically what you both told me: start reaching out to agents and then get on the phones myself. I bought another license on my dialer. So I told you I got 2 VAs. I got one cold calling. I got one text messaging. And now I'm also cold calling as well. And I've been reaching out to a number of agents and like other wholesalers. And so trying to incorporate that channel into my business as well. I mean, haven't really come across anyone that's like really wanting to sell, or if they do, the house is like all fixed up. It's completely pristine. There's no reason to take any kind of a discount. And I just happened to catch them, shortly before they planned on listing it. So, yeah, that's how it's going. I checked. I got on my, I use batch leads for all of my data management. I got 117,000 properties that I've pulled from various places on there. So over the past,
traced?
I'd say 75% are skip traced.
Wow, awesome,
great.
Because when you skip trace them, you don't get 100% of the records back that are skip traced. So I think it's 80 something thousand that are skip traced. Over the last year, I've reached out to roughly 80 to 85,000 homeowners. And so, yeah, still basically dealing with the same struggle of trying to encounter someone who is in a situation where they're motivated enough to.
What's the market?
Florida.
It's
right?
Tampa. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, obviously like that plays a factor, certainly.
But you said you're cold calling now too, right?
I am, yeah. I didn't realize on Ready Mode that I thought it was $5 per phone number, but really it's $10 per phone number. It's twice as expensive. I looked at my bill and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why am I getting charged? There's a $5 activation fee and then a $5 charge for the number.
Sure.
Shoot, I'm batch dialer, man. It's just $4 a line.
Yep.
So I learned that lesson the hard way.
Rate?
Decent contact. Yeah, I'd say a decent contact rate. It's higher, or like the response rate certainly a lot higher on the SMS side. So but yeah, that's really just where I've been. I mean, I've got another VA who's pulling like code enforcement violations. We're pulling probates now, so I've been calling all today like probate properties, and then gonna start try to start pulling water shutoffs. But again, I mean, it's a similar thing. When I've talked to a number of people that eventually at some point say, hey, they're willing to have a conversation, but then you start diving into it, and even if they're going through a problem, hey, the house is in distress, or it needs a lot of work, it turns out it needs 50, $60,000 worth of work. Maybe they're in a situation where they're wanting to sell here in the near future, but it's still they want it, like usually if they want right at retail, that's been the best situation that I found. Usually they want about 30 grand over retail.
Yeah, so educate them on the process, explain why your numbers are where they're at, and then all you can do from that is follow up. Remember, it's like Brent said last week, and this is a very real thing. We're deal finders, not deal creators. So if the numbers don't work, they don't work. If it's retail, this is what I was telling you last week, have a realtor that you're squatting up with that you could pass it off to a listing. Now that realtor is going to be bringing you opportunities. I'm curious, how many agents have you talked to?
4 agents, and they were all agents that I've met from like my own network.
2 more zeros. 2 more zeros.
Yeah, I need 400.
Yeah, so 300 initial conversations with agents is going to bring you 1 to 3 deals. I have been encouraging people to talk to 500 right now because, as Brent and I talked about at the beginning of the show, agents are freaking the fuck out right now.
Mm-hmm.
They are literally scrambling. Dude, I had a listing that I put up 2 weeks ago now at this point, 715,000 on a Thursday, no showings on Thursday, 2 on Friday, 3 on Saturday, 2 scheduled for Sunday. Normal market as to what's been for the last 24 months would have been 45 showings day 1, 15 offers to pick from.
Yeah.
I was thankful that I got an offer on Saturday at full list price. Luckily, another one came in Saturday night, but also too, I'm like, oh my God, we gave a $5,000 credit to the buyer. Like, these are things that are now going into a transaction that you have to understand as an agent's thinking. They're looking for people like yourself that are still buying in this market. So remember, you're not walking into the conversation saying, hi, I'm a wholesaler and I'll connect you with buyers. You're walking in saying, I'm a real estate investor and I'm going to be the best client you've ever had. You're welcome for this conversation. Here we are.
Yeah, how many leads do you have?
173.
Right. You have 173 you're following up with?
Yeah. On various, I got them in my CRM, and so every lead
literally today and tomorrow. It might take you a little bit longer than that, but I want you to go through all 170 of those, and I want you, anybody that has a property that's in decent condition that you have in there that you've been talking to, it's in good shape. I want you to call them. I want you to give them 60% of Zillow, and if they don't take it, I want you to get rid of them. I would rather you have 10 leads in your pipeline that are ugly houses that are really, they're going to have to do something. Even if they want a high price at this point, they're going to come and be realistic real soon. I want you to get rid of all the fat. All the fat. I'm doing this within my own business as well, because we had a lot in there that were like, oh, we'll sell it to the hedge funds, or maybe we'll sell it to Airbnbs and we'll do this and that. And we clogged up our leads. Lead follow-up with all these people that aren't really deals. So I want you to get rid of all of those over the next few days, and that's for everybody watching as well.
Yeah, that's gonna trash my entire year's worth of leads.
Good. I want it, because something's going on there. I mean, something isn't matching up. Either it's your lists. I feel like you're probably really good on the phone. If you have any recordings of your calls, will you send it to me, Brent at Talk to People? And I'll critique it and give you some notes on it. Brent at talktopeople.com. And because it's either your lists or your skills on the phone that is getting that is the lack of, because you're getting the numbers from batch. So I know that you're connecting with them. You're having enough connection rate. I know that you kind of had to deal with that a little bit. So I need to know if it's the skills or the list.
Yep.
That's how I diagnose this.
Okay. Wow. Well, thank you first off for that offer. That's very, very generous. I haven't been recording my calls, but I will absolutely do that.
So your VA has been making calls, right?
Yeah.
And you haven't been recording them?
Oh, on ready mode. No, I'm
Yeah,
sure that yeah, those are recorded. I hate ready mode. This is my fault. I need to figure. I'm sure I can pull those recordings.
got it.
Yeah.
Have you listened to the recordings of your VA?
I did when I was with the same VA and training them. I mean, it's a managed VA with a company, but I still was, actively participating in training
Yep.
when I had batch dialer because I could easily manipulate and know how to use that. With ready mode, I am not a fan of the user interface at all. This is on me. Like ultimately, I need to learn that. So I have not pulled those recordings. I don't know
Sure.
how to pull those recordings.
You
I
don't
need to
know?
I need to learn how to pull those
Yeah.
recordings on ready mode.
You need to know what your VAs are saying.
Yeah, 100%.
You have to hear them, and you got to critique them, and you got to make sure, because if they're not sending you in quality leads, you need to change them.
Well, and that's the thing. My VAs are not doing any pre-qualification.
Right.
It was recommended to me not to have that, to have me do the pre-qualification.
And I get that. I totally understand that, but you're gonna have to get rid of all those people faster.
Have to, dude. 100
because they're gonna load you up with the worst leads.
Yeah.
And it's gonna clog up your system
right now,
distract you. 171 leads.
Bro.
If I had 171 leads at one time, I'd be like pulling my hair out. It's too much.
Oh, really?
Dude,
yeah.
Dude, we're literally, even on MLS and working with agents, working about 10 leads at a time, and that's at most.
My company has 20 in our hot leads.
I thought that most operations had tens of thousands of
leads. Ain't shit if they aren't converting.
We do. I mean, we have dead leads in there, but we dead them very fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I have my VAs call through those every 90 days, all the dead leads, to see if we can revive them.
Change your mindset from wanting to qualify what a lead is to disqualifying them faster.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Are you
Tell
guys
them why
asking...
they shouldn't work with you before you like.
All right, we got to get going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's your homework. Get through all those leads, get it filtered out, and send me the recording.
Yep.
Really good to talk to you both. Thank you so much for your time.
Great to see you.
400.
Great.
You got it.
I love the sunny room. I love the headset. If it were me, maybe get a stand-up desk. I don't know. Maybe. But Steven, just want to say thank you for Wholesale Hotline and TTP. Found you guys this recent year at the start of my real estate journey. Thank you guys, always inspiring and dropping gems. Thank you, Steven, for participating. I mean, none of this happens. This would just be us standing here talking to each other. You know what I mean? So we love you guys. There's something to be said about people that are similar to you and have similar goals and dreams and ambitions, and we want to support everybody that's like us, because there's just not a tremendous amount. I mean, as well as I do, you can go to any family barbecue or go to any neighborhood barbecue and start talking wholesale real estate, and people just look at you with dead eyes. They're just like seals, you know what I mean? It's just like
the
pupils cover the whole
yep.
thing, you know what I mean? Gerbil eyes type of thing, and you're like, okay, you can't relate at all. So we love you. Thank you for the support. Jathan, Brent and Ryan should listen to one of this guy's calls and critique. I'm sure that there are areas of opportunity that we can all learn from. Yep.
For sure.
This guy's, yeah. That's what we suggested. That's awesome. Yeah. Great minds think alike, Jathan. Yeah, that's awesome. I will. I'll break that down and see what's going on there, because he's been on 3 times and, has that fire. I can tell he's got the fire in the belly to be able to really be successful. And I think you're really close. I think he's really, really, really close. He just has to get rid of the fat.
Yep. And I told him 4 agents to 400. Let's go. Yeah. From Kenneth, hey Ryan, if you're an agent, how would you present the offer to the listing agent if you're double dipping? Would you text the agent letting them know you have a cash investor sending over an offer? It's a fantastic question. So is it you representing yourself, or is it you representing a JV partner? If you're representing yourself, you'd want to go in and say, hey, I'm interested in purchasing this property myself. I have a couple questions. Remember, this is what I want you guys to understand about this process. Condition, motivation, and situation, price. That's the 3 steps in working on market deals. Again, condition, motivation / situation leads to price. You already know what price they're asking. If you can figure out the condition of the property first, figure out what the seller's situation and what their motivation.
To price, you said?
You already know what price they want when they list it. So I go condition first to talk about the property, justify why your offer is gonna be a little bit lower before you even talk about numbers, lead to what the seller's gonna do after they sell the house, which leads to their situation and their motivation, then talk about price afterwards. Because then at that point you're like, well, from the sounds of it, I mean, the property needs to be a little updated. It needs this. There might be some foundation issues. The roof's original. I probably have to do a little bit of work to the AC. There's some big ticket items here. Now, I know that Sally Smith, the homeowner, wants to be able to go and move to their cabin up north, or they're going to use the funds for X, Y, and Z. But my offer's probably going to be around this price. Is that okay? You do this over the phone rather than over text because you're able to at least set the expectation where your offer is going to be. And then you transition that to then being, whether it's through text or email. I personally recommend obviously email, especially if you're representing yourself. Doing the double dip, you're getting the commission, which means you have to submit the offer on your own behalf, but then you're also going to be getting the assignment fee. You can only double dip if you're licensed. So if the agent's going to be submitting the offer for you and you send that over text, that's not the double dip. That's just them getting a dual agency where they're getting paid both sides commission, but you'd still get the assignment fee. Make sure to know the difference on that. And then obviously just do that process of condition, motivation, price.
Boom. Awesome. Dimitri, have 5 deals in escrow, folks. Stop procrastinating. Start doing deals now. Come on. Look at Dimitri.
It's all,
looking good.
It's all you.
Oh, me. All right.
Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, you were just gentle with that. Just kind of languidly. Yeah. Arturo, what exact tools do I need to get a deal in the next 30 days? Thanks.
I would say a cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the most important. You have this. You have
laptop.
Yeah, laptop. I mean, you could even do it just from a phone, dude. I would say a cell phone's the only tool you need, in my personal opinion. I think there's so many different ways. And on the topic of getting distracted, we could tell you a million different softwares to go get. If you don't have a cell phone, you're not taking action calling people, it doesn't matter what systems you have. I would personally say if you are just getting started, getting out your phone and calling real estate agents just to get over that fear of initially calling people and having conversations about properties and what you're looking for, that should be step one. Then if you want to get systems, we can give you a few different options to go with. I mean, I would say Privy, Batch Dialer, Deal Machine, those are probably the 3 best to start with. But also if you don't have the budget, just use your phone.
Yeah, I mean, Arturo, in the next 30 days is, I think, undue pressure.
Right.
I think that consistency is more important because I don't need you to do you don't need you to do a deal in 30 days. You need to build a business that's going to do deals for the next 40 years. So what are the skills that you need to develop that, number one? But I get it. You need to get money coming in. You want proof of concept. You want to, make sure that you can free up enough time in your schedule to really commit to this business. I get where you're coming from. I just want to kind of spin it a little bit. Yep. I would say if it took you 6 months, is it still worth it?
Right.
If it took you 3 days to 6 months, is it worth it? I've had students do a deal on their very first call. Very first call.
Damn.
Right? But then they didn't do a deal for another 7 months.
Yep.
And then there's Luke Rotfold, who is on his way to do a $5 million this year, and he didn't do his first deal for 5 months. Okay?
Dude.
You've got all of these. The top people in this industry are the ones that are consistent and build the skills over time. So what I would say is, if you want the tools, one, just make sure that you're giving yourself enough runway and you're not going 30 days, do or die, and then I'm going to quit. Because I see a lot of people do that, and then they get distracted by something else, and then they kind of always stay in the same financial situation because they're leapfrogging from different lily pad to lily pad type of thing, different opportunity to opportunity. So don't do that. Stay focused on this. Find ugly houses. Dealmachine.com. You need the app. You need to do virtual driving for dollars, or you need to go and use the app and get your driving for dollars list, okay? And batchskiptracing.com or batch leads, whichever. But you can just, if you don't want to pay for the full batch leads yet because your budget's a little tight, as soon as it's not tight, make sure you get batch leads. But then you can go to batchskiptracing.com, put in your addresses, get all the phone numbers, and then just start making calls. And then just start building that consistency. And you're going to be unstoppable. But give yourself more than 30 days.
There you go.
Yeah, Jathan, here you go. Albert.
Jathan, is there a place you can see more of me?
You
appreciate it.
30 days to get a deal. What would you do?
Use my cell phone and call through Realtor.com, through Zillow, through...
But who? Who are you going to call on Realtor.com?
Real estate agents. Why
Yeah.
not? If I don't have a lot
Yeah,
of
but
money,
which ones?
all of them. I don't know which one wants to do a deal. I don't know which ones have done or are hungry for a deal. I don't know. It doesn't tell me that, so I'm just gonna go through all of them with my cell phone, hand dial it, talk to them. Because you know what? If I have time to burn, because I don't have anything else to do, why not? It's a value or what is it? Income producing activity.
Yep.
And I mean, you could also, I don't know if, can you announce what you are doing with Aditi?
With the what?
Oh, not yet.
No, not yet. Okay. He's working on some stuff where people will be able to see.
Well,
him more.
yeah, I think, Jathan, just to let you know here, the reason that we're on here is because Albert actually runs all of their businesses, and he's on his cell phone texting and doing deals
Literally
during the whole show.
Back there. Yep.
So
Still runs.
That was kind of their deal with me, is they would kind of show up every Thursday as long as somebody was minding the store, so to speak. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes there.
Yep.
But actually, in the next couple months, it's really exciting. We're going to have a much bigger studio and much bigger space for this show, and it's going to be a different format, and it's going to be fantastic. So it's going to be really great. So stick around for that, Jathan. But I agree, more Albert is better when he's not doing deals.
Right.
And distracted, because we're like looking at him and he's doing deals,
he's
and we're like, okay, can I toss it over to Albert? No,
I'm
wait a
listening,
second.
though.
Yeah, I know.
You think I'm texting, but this year's hot.
I know.
From Nay, when hiring an acquisitions manager, how do you know if they're a good fit for your business?
Ooh.
It's a fantastic question. For us, a lot of it is willingness. How open-minded are they? Are they team players? And then also, like, how bad do they want it? Like, a lot of times what we do when we're hiring is, yes, we make them go through a lot of, like, professional steps, like submit a resume. I want them to reach back out to me. So if people are watching this right now that have applied for our new job that we are putting out looking for people, follow up. Follow up is huge. Showing that they're willing to go and do what it takes to be able to get in contact. That's a lot of what this business is, whether it's through agents or sellers. It doesn't matter. So I want to see that eagerness. I want to see that ambition. I want to see them being open-minded and willing.
I would not hire an acquisition manager until you're making $50,000 a month. For real. And that's not just because I want you to be keeping a lot of that money. But two, if you want to hire real talent, they want to make at least $120,000. It used to be $100,000. It's $120,000 now with inflation and everything else going on, and healthcare costs and all these other things that are happening. You need to be able, and if they're getting 15-20%. It's a $50,000 business. I mean, $50,000 a month business. Yep. And that's when you start bringing on acquisition managers, because if you're not closing that many and you don't have a pipeline of opportunities for them, one, you're not going to get the right talent. You're just not. And I will tell you this without a doubt. Your acquisition manager, your conversion side of that business makes or breaks your business. If you can't convert leads, if you can't be versatile and understand all the different communication styles and personality styles and situations and overcome objections and shorten timelines and stay consistent and stay motivated, your business, all of it hinges on that middle part: lead generation, conversion, exit strategy. The three parts. Conversion is the most important. I'm telling you right now, it is the most important, because you'll just be wasting money all the time. So that role is the most critical in your business, and you need to be at 50,000 so that you can hire somebody that makes 120,000 a year. No joke. And I don't care what market you're in. Great salespeople, great, versatile salespeople that are, and don't take that as like a dirty word. I think it's an incredible word. These are people that have the most empathy, and they have the most versatility, and they have the most flexibility to move around, and they don't cause friction with people, and they're the most lovable, and they're most kind and most expressive. Though that type of person wants to make 120,000, and you need to be at 50 grand a month. If you hire before 50 grand a month, you're going to have a lot of turnover. Just telling you.
Spot on.
Yep.
From Xavier, as someone that just made the jump into wholesaling and is proactive and wanting to take any action, any tips?
Talk to people.
Yep. Stay consistent.
Listen, 1 out of 200 ugly houses that you talk to, you'll get a deal. 1 out of 300 real estate agents that you talk to, you're going to get referral. So that's what you do. It just depends on where you want to focus. Some people are just going straight to real estate agents, having those conversations, getting those referrals off the bat, as opposed to going direct to the seller.
That's it.
I think you got to pick a way, Xavier. I mean, you could do both. You can mix in both, but just be proactive. You know what I mean? There's direct to seller and agent outreach. So just kind of balance those two, and that's what you want to do. It's just you should be on this thing 3 hours a day consistently. I mean, not just like 3 hours a day. Oh, like 3 hours straight. Like you literally time block 3 hours where you're not screwing around and getting distracted. You're just in your hustle season making these calls. You do that, you win.
That's it.
I'm just telling you. Nobody I know that does that has everybody that does that wins. Nobody that does that doesn't. I don't know. Whatever. Nobody that does it hasn't won. There we go. Holy cow.
Yeah.
I think I got that right.
Yeah, you did.
Kenny's rolling his eyes. Robert, how can I balance having a wife and a 1-year-old son and also dedicate my time to get deals done?
I don't think I should speak on this one.
168 hours, Robert. 168 hours a week that you have. You can find 20 hours to commit to this business so that you can have a lifestyle that you and your wife and your son and probably more, right, coming around. Maybe not. Maybe one and done, but maybe more, right? Young, growing family doing this thing. Listen, our legacy that we leave to the people behind is what we do in this life. It's the example we leave. It's the model we leave. It's not the money. It's the model. You should not punish yourself for being in a hustle season around your wife and your children. They should see you working hard and providing value to the community. It is not taboo. It is not like, when you're home, you got to just shut it off. That's not entrepreneur. Sorry. There's no balance. There's only harmony. There's only harmony, Robert. So you can find 20 hours a week. And trust me, if you're 168 hours all the time with your wife and son, they're going to want to kick you out. They'll be like, go do something. I don't know what you just get it. You know what I mean? Like 20 hours, find 20 hours and then find 40 when you can do it full time. But there's plenty of time. And remember, it's not even about time with your family. It's attention. It's attention. And so if you're going to be an entrepreneur and want a different lifestyle and be a really big model for them and let them understand that you don't have to stay in a row like you were in school your entire life and actually have control and understand that there's way more to life than people telling you where you should be at a certain time for your whole life. And you want your family to understand that and have that freedom as well, you got to put in the work. Hustle season, baby. So the beautiful thing is we have 168 hours. So how much time is spent at work, how much time is spent with your family, and how much time is spent with entertainment?
Yep.
Or education. Don't get stuck in education.
Whoa.
Here we go.
Let's go,
Sterling.
Just locked up 11 properties.
11 properties totaling 102 units to wholesale. The deals are out there.
Boom.
Come on.
Let's go. I love that, dude. Wow.
Get those properties sold and then tell us how much you made on that. That's going to fire everybody up, Sterling. I'm so happy for you. Hey, Brent, if I submitted a contract to TTP JV, will I hear back even if you guys aren't interested just to hear where it went wrong with the numbers? Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. I have a wife and 7 children.
Sterling's been busy.
Listen, bro, doesn't stop him from getting 11 properties for 100 plus units. Yeah, there you go. There's your answer.
Wow.
I have a wife and 7 children. I find time, and yes, harmony is the key. Here it is. Will you go back to that JV question real quick from Sterling? It depends on if it's a deal or not. If it's not, it'll be very quick.
It's Roberta.
Yeah, that's okay. Robert, it just depends. We're not going to give you notes on every deal. That would be impossible. Jeremy looks at all those. My disposition manager looks at every single one of them. If it's not a deal and he doesn't respond, it's not a deal. We're not going to give you notes on that unless you're in the coaching program itself. Yep. And that's just a time thing. That's just an attention thing. He can't. He'd be overwhelmed, and that would affect my business and it would affect the my coaching business. So the people in the program, yes. And this is just for everybody out there. that are submitting things to the JV. Paul, does a market determine your success? Does your market determine your success?
I don't think so. Because I think that, if you're in a market that has 1,000 people, be mindful of that. There's probably
especially with things tightening, bro.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, if there's 5 main buyers in these smaller markets,
sure.
and that's just what I'm seeing, you need to get into bigger markets.
For sure. And I think that it also just goes down to, like, again, self-awareness. If you are in that market, I'm not saying deals can't be done there. It's just extremely hard. So
the issue also is those cash buyers get together and they go, okay, with these wholesalers, we're gonna give them $5,000 at the most for these deals, even if they're like these unbelievable deals. They literally do this.
For sure.
I know this for a fact. So yes, in a sense, as long as you are in a market that has 500,000 or plus, you should be good.
That's it.
Population of 500,000 or more, especially as things start tightening in the cash buyers, those smaller rural markets, dude, I'm telling you, the cash buyers are going to go bananas. They're just going to put the pressure on them.
From Huri. I have a deal in the pipeline.
Yep.
I don't think I set the right expectations with the seller. How do I persuade her that selling her home for a discount is the best route? You can't force them, so you need to educate them. You need to explain why your numbers are where they're at and what your process is. So I think that Brent could probably speak on this better than I can, being direct to seller. But when you walk in, you just have to make sure the expectations are set properly as to why the condition is going to take X amount of dollars in repairs, what their situation is, and why they need to sell in X amount of days. You need to, basically what we talked about even with Dylan, disqualify them before you qualify, and then make sure before you even go to that appointment, you have disqualified them or qualified them to the point where they're ready to sign a contract.
Persuade and convince are words that should never be used. You can't. We're deal finders, not deal creators. I mean, that's what it comes down to. And I understand where you're coming from here. Like, what do you say to see if they really want to sell or if they're being serious? Or how do you get people that own these ugly houses that want way too much for it to really get realistic? Yep. I mean, you can have conversations and show them the properties that are in similar condition that have sold and what they've sold for. That's your best bet. If it's an ugly house.
Right.
If it's a beautiful house that they should put it on the market, you are not working in their best interest. If you're like trying to say, oh no, like the sky's falling, sell now. Let them put it on the market. That's not who we're working with. 90 to 94% of the properties out there we're not working with, but 14 million? We have 14 million in our pond to fish from. Let's focus on those and not try to put our efforts, attention, energy into persuasion. Let's put it into finding the actual deals that we can actually that trading speed and equity. I mean, speed and convenience for their potential equity is the best route.
That's it.
That's it.
I like that.
Yeah.
No word persuasion.
Yeah. No, but I know where he's coming from. I don't think that he's in there like trying to like
for sure.
hit him with like certain
you're gonna sign this
lines or something like or whatever else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's we're deal finders, not deal creators.
Yep. From Peter, the real honest investor, Ryan Brent, what did you buy with your first check from an REI deal?
Gas for my car, bro. You know what I mean? Like, what's come on? What'd you spoil? The watch?
No. So my first one. So you're familiar with house hacking?
Yes.
I travel hacked.
Nice.
So I paid for an Airbnb for me and my buddies for like 10, 15 of us to go up to a cabin. I dropped like $2,500 and then I had everybody bring me $200 to $250 and I ended up walking away getting paid. The trip was a write-off. Went and looked at some land up north and awesome. That was my first go around.
Yeah, honestly, I had a judgment. So I signed an office lease for my real estate brokerage that we were building, and I signed it in January 2008 as an idiot because there was rumblings in 2007 of what was going to happen. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to grit through this. I'm a young man. I got a lot of energy. Look at all the stuff that I've done. It was nothing, by the way, now that you look back on it. And then so I signed a 10-year office lease with a personal guarantee on a 9,000 square foot office, and by the end of the year, wasn't able to pay that lease. So they slapped me with a $742,000 judgment, and then from there, over the 5 years from that time, it was on interest. So and they renewed it because you have to renew a judgment every 5 years or it falls off. So they renewed it 2 days before it was about to fall off. I was like, this is amazing because it hung over me for 5 years. And so I was like, okay, they renewed it. It's over $1 million judgment on me right now. I'm 30 at the time. And I was finally starting to get going in real estate, found wholesaling in 2013, late 13, really started going in 14, and then was able to pay it off in 16. And I settled it. It took me about a year to settle it, and they settled for like 50, 60,000. So I couldn't buy anything fancy or cool or anything like that because I'd have to go in and show them what was in my bank account. And they were nice. They were like, well, just keep building your business so that you could pay this thing off at some point, which was nice. So I got a little bit of flexibility there, but it was wildly stressful to go into an attorney's office every 90 days, and then after a few years, every 6 months, and have to give them your financials. It was humiliating. It was ego blasting. It was horrible. It was very stressful. And so I'll tell you what, the day that I got the release of that judgment, woo, man, that was awesome. That was awesome. Because you couldn't buy real estate. You can't buy real estate with the judgment. The title company checks it. So they check on you and they see if you have these judgments, and if you do, you can't buy real estate. So I couldn't buy real estate for what a big chunk of my late 20s and early 30s.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been through a lot of this stuff. That's why I like a lot of the principles that I have about ugly houses, big checks, stay focused, don't try to do everything all at once, don't try to build all these multiple businesses. That's what crushed me. I was trying to do all of those things, totally crushed me. And when the market squeezed, which inevitably it's an accordion, it's going to squeeze back like this. It doesn't always go, sometimes it goes, right? Like an accordion, perfect. That was a perfect accordion noise.
Yes.
I mean, I really crushed that. But when it goes, then all the people that are over leveraged or over their skis with ego and with distraction really get a punch. And I don't want anybody to go through what I did. I don't. So I get passionate about it. Anyway,
wow.
There you go.
From Wally Fly. How does someone overcome fear of talking to agents? I've called a handful and my heart races every time. Any advice would be appreciated. Yeah, so when you're calling agents, remember to celebrate the little victories, understanding that when you're first calling them, you did it. Second is that they are more likely to be intimidated at first when talking to you than you are with them because they have to qualify you. So remember, while you're trying to find the agent that's going to go and work on your behalf to help you, the hardest part for the agent is to find a client. So if you're calling them, you are literally the missing piece that they need. If you can wrap your head around that and understand that going into the conversation, it'll help your mindset, I promise. Understand that when you call them and they answer, their job is to qualify you and make sure that you're a legit buyer. So what do you need? You need to have buying capability, proof of funds, and tell them what your buy box is. That's it. Aside from it, it's a numbers game. Of course there's bad apples. You'll find the few realtors that are like, take me off your list. There's no deals available, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? Move on to the next one. Understand that it's okay. Celebrate the little victories. You're on the right track, and keep going.
You will find in life the things that make your heart race are the most incredible. Once you figure that thing out, once you're like starting and you're kind of like here, right? And then after a while, you're just like steady as can be. You're like, wait a second, I'm a changed person. This is incredible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Calling the first people, doing the first. I remember anytime you start something new, you're like that. You know what I mean? It should be heart racing. That's when you know that you're testing the limits of what you are, of who you are,
For sure.
of what your skills as a business person are. And that's incredible. So I applaud you, and I say run towards that as much as you possibly can, as long as you're focused.
Yep.
Don't just use that as a tool for like that dopamine hit and start doing all sorts of crazy stuff. Stay focused on one thing until you master it.
For sure.
Okay? Awesome. I think that's it.
Let's go.
Awesome. Great show. Yeah,
Boom.
that's awesome. Thank you guys for joining us. Albert, they want more of you. I'm telling you, you can't just be over there just sending DocuSigns all day long. All right?
Here. I ain't going anywhere.
Thank you guys. One time, are you able to put up the Millionaire Before 30 graphic just so that we can knock that out? Matt is not here. He is out of town this week, so Aaron is covering. and Matt and I have done so many shows that he's like, already on it. It's all right.
Yeah,
we
we're
get
good.
it,
We're
guys.
good.
Millionaire Before 30. Thank you guys for joining us. Love you guys. We'll see you next week.
I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they'll years, I'm just waiting for the